Right, we're back on our Project Range Rover Sport. We've had a week. I've been in China for a week. But we're back and we got to get moving on our Project Range Rover Sport. We're just going to do the brake bleeding video. But one thing we just thought we'd do, with these evenings getting dark now, we're going to do a little LED light upgrade. So I've got Gary helping me today and he's worked all this out. So what we're going to do is all the lights in the sort of upper half of the car here, we're going to change to white LED, and all the ones in the lower half of the car inside we're talking about here, we're going to change to blue LED. So let's have a look. So at the moment, the standard car has got these sort of rather yellowy white puddle lights here, and likewise you've got a sort of puddle light you may even not have noticed you've got under here. You can see even in the dark workshop with the lights off, it's still not that bright. And then obviously you've got your LED lights on your overhead console. You just want to sit round and flash one of those on, Gary. And then if you have a look how the interior lights are, they're sort of yellow, so there's them there. Right, so this video we're going to show you how to upgrade these to the cool LED blue ones, which Gary's fitted on the other side so you can see those, and the Footwell lights underneath and in the rear. And we'll also do the boot one. You can see the boot one lying there. We're going to show you how to upgrade those, how to upgrade these interior lights in the roof here, and we're also going to show you how to disable your interior lights, and we're also going to show you the fuse box location, so that if you have a nightmare and blow a fuse, how you can do this. Right, when we started doing this video, do you want to flick the lights on, Gary? When we started doing this video, I was like, oh no, the fuse is gone, because none of these... Now, let me get this right. The door lights were working, weren't they, Gary?
Yeah.
It was the Footwell lights that weren't working, and we thought maybe we haven't got them fitted, but actually, there's about 5 bulbs have blown on the car.
Yeah.
So I think this is something you may not realise you have, or may think you've got a lower spec, because these bulbs do seem to blow. This is a 2005 model. So just have a check. So right, so that might be worth doing, rather than replacing the bulbs like for like with halogen, upgrade to the LED one. So Gary set up a little display here showing you, so you should, if I get the camera light right, he's drawn a little car here. So we're going to upgrade the Footwell lights, which are under the dash. We're also going to have a go, although it's a bit of a pain, isn't it, Gary?
Yeah, your glove box.
The glove box light, he's a bit of a nemesis. Now, we've put it in just to have a full kit. The kit we currently sell on the website doesn't have that, but we might add it. We might not. We'll have a look. It's a bit of a nightmare. We're going to give you there's the 4 lights that go in the doors. You can see our little graphic here. You got 3 light bulbs in the LED overhead console. You got your 2 light bulbs. I noticed they're a different shape there on the rear passenger lights. And of course the boot light, the luggage compartment light. Right, so what are you going to start with, Gary? So Gary's going to grab some of these.
You go passenger Footwell?
Let's go passenger Footwell.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. So, now have you got a little tool? In the kit, we put the little tool, Gary. We missed the tool out. So in the kit, we give this little yellow plasticky tool that's sort of handy for, sort of saves breaking your fingernails. Right.
One thing I want to add
is
when I tried this earlier, the connector was stuck up inside.
That's right.
Inside the dash.
Yeah.
So hopefully, because I've reconnected it, it should come out far enough.
Yeah. So what we had to do, Gary said, oh, there is a light in there, but there's no wire on it, and we had to fish around up inside because some previous owner it had come dislodged.
There you go. Sure enough, it's gone back up inside.
It's gone back up inside, has it?
Yeah.
So you can't.
What we're going to do, we're going to have to take out this bottom section of the dashboard, just unclear.
Hold on, let me get some light in here, Gary.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can't. It's like a black hole, a car cutter in there. Right. Okay. Right. Go on. So,
just pull out that corner. You've got a little clip on here.
Yeah.
And just work your way up. So it's free up there. You need a screwdriver.
Because we've got 2 little screws we've got to undo. Gary's going to get the screwdriver. Right, and you've got these 2 funny screws just on this front edge here. One there and one there. And what that'll do is it'll allow us to lower this panel down so that the light, while Gary's getting a screwdriver, is up under here. And all you've got to do to get it out is just flick on this corner. Get that little tool behind the corner and lower it down. It's got these sort of springy plasticky bits here. but it should have an electrical connector. But for some reason, our electrical connector is disappeared up inside, and you can't, even if you drop the glove box down, you still can't get to it. So the only way is to, right, enough of my whittering.
Yeah, so these screws are only quarter turn. There you go. One,
It's not.
two, they both come out. Just get behind it, and there you go, that's it.
And then you've got enough room there to get to the water. Now this is only, obviously you shouldn't have to do this. I don't recall having to do it when we did it before on the other Sport. Right, so Gary's got hold of it now. He's going to just touch that up for now. I'll get that light on before I worry too much.
Yeah.
Right, I can see some blueness. So you just plug that light in, and then that just pops up into the top. You get a better idea of this, and then just clip that panel back in. We'll put those quarter turn fasteners back in later. Line that up. That's it, Gary.
There you go.
Okay. Right, so there's our footwell light done. Right, let's have a go. Let's do a door light now, Gary. You've got the thing in your hand. Now, warning. These lights can get hot, especially now we've been messing around for a minute or two. So you can see what better on the door, but it's the same process. It's the same light fitting. So all these modules are all the same. So there we go. So you've got the little traditional halogen bulb in there. Okay, and what you've got to do is whip this connector off. So is there any tricks to that, Gary? Is it just a... I don't think there's a special thing to press. Is there? You just give it a
this one's
sharp
just a
pull.
bit of a pull. There you go.
Ah, now don't we have... Now, do these fit in this door cards, or have we got the problem?
That's the thing.
That's the thing. So shine the light. You got a light on there, look. You can shine the light on the problem. So what we've got is we've got this little gusset plate here in the door that's going to stop this module going in. You go to push it in, and it won't seat. So what we've got to do, Gary's going to go and get a little Stanley knife, and I don't know why that gusset is there, but you've got to just cut that out. So while I illuminate it gently, now if you just slit the bottom of that and the top,
So the top's not actually connected.
the top's not, okay, and then can you flap it like a little?
Yeah, that's it.
You can just bend it back now.
Bend it a bit, one way. Try and score down, I guess.
You're going to get rid of it all completely, are you?
Yeah.
You could just leave it there, couldn't you? But you'd rather have it out, would you?
I'd rather it out.
You
Like that.
had your appendix out, Gary.
There you go.
Have you had your appendix? That's a serious question.
No, I
Gary.
haven't.
No, he hasn't
No.
had his appendix out. Look. There you go. Rather have it out. Right. Do you have to have your appendix out when you join the military? You didn't have to ask Tyler that, didn't you?
Can do.
Right. There you go. So that's all in there. That's all good. Right. Rear door card's the same, so we won't bother doing that. What should we get on now, Gary? What's next on the list?
Do you want to do the overhead?
The overhead console, yeah. So you grab those three. Do you want to go round the driver's side? I'll make myself comfortable in here. Right, we've got fuse box locations coming up, and we've got... Should we do how to disable and enable your interior lights while we're in here, Gary?
Yeah, can do.
Right, so as you see when you get in and out the car, your interior lights come on and off and do all that stuff. Now, if you want to disable that functionality, you can, and these are the map reading lights, aren't they? So hold on, these ones should be linked to that. But you can disable that if you press and hold this middle button here and watch the dashboard. See if I can catch this. After a few seconds, it'll come up and it says, what does it say on there?
Interior light off.
Interior lights off. If you do that again, so that middle button, press and hold, the central dash will power up, and it says interior lights auto, I think it said.
Automatic mode.
And the lights actually flashed as well. So so good, right. So that's how you do that, right. You can have a go at doing these bulbs then, Gary.
Yeah. So
Now Gary hasn't done this, he watched.
I think in your previous video,
Yeah.
rather than pulling out these,
Yeah.
the lights themselves, you pulled out the whole
Console.
Yeah.
Oh. It's a bit mad, wasn't it? Pulling out the old console. Reckless. Or maybe not so reckless. Yeah, put those bulbs down. Just give a bit more light on it. Can't see where we're looking. So let's have a look what's clipping that in, Gary. So you've got this blue peg, which is like the thingy. And then you've got these. Do you reckon we've bent those a little bit, pulling those out? Or do you reckon they hook under?
They might hook underneath.
Underneath the headlining, yeah, because I reckon we probably bent them a bit there.
Right.
I reckon we just bend those back a bit. Careful with that, because then they look better. Then they'll spring in and grip the headlining, won't they?
Yeah.
Well, let's push those back. And at the back, what are the rear fixings at the back? So the rear fixings at the back are 2 pegs.
Yeah.
That clearly you just hook those under the rear there.
Yeah.
And then those clips are at the front. So I think you can pull that down. That does seem to be the way.
Yeah.
Right. What did I do then?
I think it was quarter turn for each.
Quarter turn. Okay. Pop out those. Right, let's have a look at those. Yeah. And they're in a little holder, so it's a little classic T10 capsule. So yeah, let that dangle. Let's have a look. Pull that out. Now, it doesn't matter with these bulbs which way you put them in, does it?
You call it polarised?
Polarised, that's right. So some bulbs are polarised, but we sell the ones that are non-polar. So if you're getting bulbs from somewhere else other than us, and you put them in and they don't work, so what we'll probably do, Gary, is once you've done all these 3, they're all the same, those 3. We'll test it before we fit it back, because we don't want to go to all that effort twice just to find out they don't work. Something's gone on there, so one's working.
That's our middle one.
Yeah. You got it? Right, so just check them before you, so spin it round so I can see it. Press the buttons, check they all work. All work. Whoosh! Blimey, right, let's have those off. Right, so yeah, then I reckon to refit, let's just check all the wires are good. Check nothing's going to get caught under that rim there, Gary. And then, that's right, tuck that back edge in first. And then push that one up in the front there. This back edge isn't quite right. And that's it, you got that. That should then, that's it, like a boss. Right, we're all good. Right, boot light. Let's get in the boot. Right, we rejoin you in the boot of our Range Rover Sport. So is it easier one side than the other? It probably is, isn't it, Gary?
There is a slight little gap. You see, well, I don't know if you can see that on the camera.
No, too much light.
Yeah, it kind of goes in there. You can either, use your fingers if you want, but we supply the tool.
That's it. One there.
Connector, just pull out again.
That's it. So that whole thing there, we don't want that. We're replacing the whole module. Put that in. Oh, look at that blueness. Look at that. God. Right, so is that us? Right, but fuse locations we got to do next, haven't we? Yeah. So we've done all that. So that's all the interior light. Oh no, glove box light. Right, glove box light. Right, they're all down in the same sort of area, aren't they, Gary? Yeah. So what are we going to do? Right, first of all, there are 2 fuses. Now let me get this right. The doors are on a separate fuse to the other interior lights. Sorry about that noise, it keeps beeping. I'll sort that. Now, the fuse for these is under the bonnet. Let's show them where that one is. The door ones is a mysterious one. And I looked at the wiring diagram. We downloaded the wiring diagram and looked at it. And there is the only fuse on it. Can you just pop that bonnet? So the only fuse for the door light ones is under the bonnet. You take the battery cover off. You take the fuse box cover off here. And you reveal this. Now, it was one of these 40 amp fuses.
I believe it was that one. It was link 15.
Link 15 it is. So if you look on here, you're right. It's fuse. It's a 40 amp fuse, 13, 11, 15. You're not wrong, Gary. It's that second one there. And it's got that picture of that light there. And if you pull that one out, well, now it's 40 amps, which is ridiculous. But that's the only fuse. Gary, bless him, pulled all the fuses out of the fuse box under here that he's going to show you. And none of them would turn that off. So we had to go to the wiring diagram, and crazily a 40 amp fuse is the only fuse. So you're unlikely to blow that one. The interior light one's 10 amp. And we did blow it messing it about, didn't we? Right, Gary is going to show you where that is. Right, so in you go, Gary. Right, so there's 2 fuse boxes on your Range Rover Sport. One in the engine bay we've just seen, and there's another one hidden behind the dashboard. Now I apologise to you guys in America. Where it's on the other side, but it should be the same, hopefully. Now, you've got a little diagram on the lid here, which should represent roughly, and it's actually fuse number 1.
Yeah, so it is right at the top.
Right at the top there. So, but when you look at it, let's see if you can point it out, Gary. It's way, way, way up.
Should be the top left-hand corner.
Hold on, let me get up.
Right in there?
Yeah, it's that top one there. 10 amp one right in there. Top left. There's a row of reds at the top there, and it's the very most awkward leftist one to get to. Right, so that's where the fuse is for your interior lights. Right, now, when you open your glove box, there is a little light. Gary, you didn't show me how you did that, Gary. You just assumed everyone knew how to do that little trick you did there. When you open your glove box, it doesn't go down that far, does it, Gary?
No.
He was glossing over these things. Right, but what you got there is you've got a little thing, and if you squidge that on both sides...
Yeah. Just push them both down.
You. Let's just have a little look. Let's get... Oh, swap sides, Gary. Let me come this way. Okay. So what you got there is a little... If I can get the camera... Right, now can you just squeeze that bit that you were squeezing, Gary? Just to show. That's what makes it go down to that fully descended position. You've got that little ramp there. So you have to squeeze that on both sides to get that down. Right. So there is an interior light. And the interior light lives up under here. It's kind of tricky. You'll see it because it'll be on. Now, what we've done to try and make it a little easier is we've taken the light fitting out. Where's that light fitting gone? Right, I might need you to help me here, Harry. Gary. He is actually called Harry, but we had two Harrys, so we called him Gary. Right, this is the light fitting, and this is up. And what you've got there is that little bulb. Can you see the bulb in there? Now, to get it out, because it's sort of hanging upside down, is kind of tricky. And the best way we found was we got a little screwdriver, didn't we? Can we emulate that little screwdriver? So Gary's going to sort of... You have to sort of get the screwdriver on the base of the bulb and flick it out. And then you can see the bulb holder there. And then you get the new bulb. And then we'll just show you that. And then you just push the new bulb in there. And that will give you better lighting. Now, unfortunately, this little module does not come out. I've sort of ripped mine out to show you because it was a rubbish video, but that sits under there. But that is kind of tricky. You will need a rubber mat on the floor to kneel on, but you may decide not to do that and just keep that as a spare bulb. If your patience runs out, don't go too mad. But that sits behind it. It sits just behind this switch, and this is the switch for turning the glove box light on and off. And that's the connector where I've pulled it off. But you should just be able to flick that bulb out from underneath and be done with it. Right, I think we've covered all you need to know about your interior lights on your Range Rover Sport.
And what about the rear passengers?
What about who cares about them? Oh, go on, Gary. Right, we do care about rear passengers. Go on, then. So there's a little lens on the front of that. Get in there with your plastic tool up. Brings that assembly out. Inside you got a little bulb. It's easy to pull out, isn't it, Gary?
Should be.
Alright, so that should, with a bit of wiggling, but that was quite tricky, that one. So they may take, for some reason, some of these bulbs get a little bit tight. Then put the other one back in there. Again, doesn't matter which way round he goes. Oh, it does matter which way round he goes, because these...
Yeah, these are the one-sided.
One-sided, so make sure the yellow bit, which is the illuminating bit, is facing towards the lens. And there you go, and it clicked in there. There you go there. That's it. And so we've gone for the white, obviously, on the high parts. Right, have we done it all now, Gary?
Yeah.
You happy?
Yeah.
Yeah, there we go. LED bulb light upgrade. Good job. Good luck with that.